You're listening to Edging the Truth.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Edging the Truth. It is episode 19. I am Fudge. I'm going to be running the show for you today. The host that definitely doesn't know the most on Edging the Truth is here. I am joined by my good buddies, by my fellow hosts, as always, Mikey Mini Pies, Mr. One Lung Low, David Marriott Jr., also known as Red Raspus, and Brian Shenanigan. We are all back. We're here. Another episode. It's going to be a great episode. We're actually recording this live. We are live on Twitch. We're live on our Facebook. Is that correct, Red?
Yes. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch.
Everywhere. Come join the fun. Obviously, if you're listening to this or watching this later, we really appreciate that. But next time we do a live episode, come on, jump in the chat, jump in the comments, tell us what you think. If you've got any thoughts on our topic, anything stupid we say, we'd love to hear from you. We always love the interaction, so we're trying it out, doing our first live episode. Fuck it, we're doing it live. Catch us everywhere, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Edging the Truth. Go to edgingthetruth.com for links to all those places. Twitch.tv/edgingthetruth, youtube.com/edgingthetruth, twitter.com/edgingthetruth, facebook.com/edgingthetruth. All right, let's talk about this episode here a little bit and what we're going to get into. Obviously, you know, on the show, we love our voicemails. I just mentioned we love to hear from the fans, from the people, from the listeners, and we got another one. So we are going to be joined by a guest, a very, very good friend of mine, former roommate. I love this man to death. My good buddy Trey Smith joins the show. He's joining us from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He's going to enjoy a couple cold beverages with me. And we are talking astrology, zodiac signs, horoscopes, all of that good stuff. Trey was kind enough to call into the voicemail line a couple weeks ago and give us some ideas for some topics. A little background on Trey as far as how he kind of correlates to the show. One of our best listeners, he actually physically listens to the show on his drives to and from work while he's working, all that good stuff. He listens with his girlfriend. She is big into astrology, horoscopes, and stuff like that, so he figured it might be a fun topic for us to get into. So I thought, let's have him on the show to discuss it with us. So first, Red, if you'll kindly play his voicemail that he left us to kind of give us a premise. We're going to introduce this cutie pie and get him on the screen, and then we're going to dive into the episode. So let's get to the voicemail.
What's up, guys? Just got done listening to your Denver airport episode, and had to call in since Big Fudge called me out. This is Trey Smith, a.k.a. Trey Daddy, calling in. Had a few topics I thought I might bring up, and you guys can let me know if they're stupid or not. First one I wanted to pitch at you is Yetis. Since we already talked about Sasquatches, I want to hear about the bones and poop of Yetis. Also, more importantly, I want to hear Brian fucked an albino person. Second, astrology. That would be a cool one, since, you know, my girlfriend's into that stuff hard, and I feel like every female is right now. And I feel like that would be a good subject for the crew to kind of dive into as far as research goes. Anyways, One Lung wanted to give you a shout out. I am the listener that confused you for One Lung, and I apologize for that because One Lung is sick, and I appreciate you, bro. You're a good dude. I like hearing you on the pod, and I hope to hear from you guys. Let me know. See ya.
Let's get this guy here in the street.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Trey Daddy, how you doing, my friend?
Doing great. Can't complain. It's a Friday night. It's a Friday night.
So when I asked you to do this and we established Friday at 8:45, I wasn't sure if you were going to be already out or not. So I do thank you for joining us, taking the time. You did respond and said you couldn't think of a better pregame, which is incredible. So Trey, you're here. We're going to pregame. We're going to have some beers. We're going to talk astrology. So I guess I'll dive in here and give some background on it before I kick it off to you guys. So, I mean, astrology, at this point, is kind of it's known as a pseudoscience. It's kind of been debunked. It's been that way since the 19th century. But it's pretty interesting that it literally spans back to Babylonian times. They started stargazing, examining the sky. Obviously, back in those times before all the pollution, the big building, the lights, the sky was way more clear. You could see a lot of shit. They started, connecting the stars, forming these constellations. They were actually seeing planets move around. At the beginnings of astrology, they actually were charting the movement of the sun in correlation to the Earth. They were thinking the sun was orbiting the Earth. As we know, it's the other way. So the Babylonians picked this up. It spreads to ancient Greece, ancient Rome, ancient in the Middle East, everywhere throughout history. We've seen examples of astrology, and it was an accepted science for quite a long time. The astrologists work closely with astronomers and other scientists as well. I guess it's not really till it got to, ancient Greece is kind of the horoscopes that we kind of see today are really the influence of what it is today. They based most of the constellations and the planets and stuff they were seeing in the sky after their gods. So it has, it's got Greek mythology influences. It's got Babylonian mythology influences. It's just a big smorgasbord of a bunch of different cultures here, and how they kind of, studied the sky. They believed the movements of the celestial objects, the stars, the planets, had correlation with stuff that was going on the Earth, whether that was in people's personal lives, how it affected, nature, the sea, and stuff like that. So now we kind of see it as, people read their daily horoscopes all the time. There are a lot of people, I think Trey said it in his voicemail, like every girl ever is into this kind of stuff, and what your birthday means, and about you and why you do the things you do, and all of that good stuff. So that's kind of a rough opening here. So I'm going to kick it to our guest first. Trey, what are your overall thoughts on astrology? Did you find anything out in any research you did before this that was interesting that you didn't know before? Just take it away, buddy.
I think it's absolutely. I think it's super interesting, and it's something that, growing up, I grew up pretty traditional, and so that wasn't something that I knew before. I met certain people that would kind of bring those topics up to me. But I think it's just super interesting that, this has been around for, a long, long time, and it's if you want to relate it to even religions that are around, it's almost like a religion in the way that I see it when I read through this stuff. And it's how much can we actually even take away from it? Cause it's pretty, just like a religion in a way. And, it's we're talking about, a belief that we have in the sky type of thing. And that's kind of what if you read through stuff in research, that's kind of what they say. But yeah, I think there's something to be said about personalities and mapping. It's kind of like a statistical thing in a way too. You're looking at, how many times do we see this kind of person born at a certain time doing this over and over, and, exhibiting these characteristics, repetitively. So I think it's definitely something that is interesting and feasible, but there's something to be, it is a pseudoscience, and there's, definitely kind of some skepticism that I have for sure, because it's not something that, has a lot of research or fact or I guess science, actual science behind it. It's a pseudoscience literally. So but that's kind of my thoughts on it. I do kind of like it though, and hearing, the different things. And I shot you that, app called CoStar, that, my girlfriend's super into, and, Nick Bizzati, shout out, his girlfriend, she's the one who got me on it. And, it'll tell you things the basic astrology stuff that you hear all the time. Today's a day where you don't do this, or you do this. And this is how you're going to feel type of thing. And it's a almost like a psychological thing that gets to you. Like if you hear it, you're probably gonna act it, which is crazy to think about that we're easily that swayed as humans. But it's kind of cool that we are, and it does make you act that way in a certain way. So yeah, those are my thoughts.
It depends on, how much you read into it. A lot of people read a lot into it and use that as a way of life. I think you brought up some interesting points. There's no real hard facts here. A lot of it is just put up to interpretation. Whether you're doing a birth chart, which is kind of cool. It's like, so you need to know what time you were born. Obviously, everybody knows their birthday. Well, I guess not everybody knows their exact birthday, but 99.9% of people know when they were born. And your location, you put that in. It charts, exactly where the planets were, what constellations were where when you were born. And that's supposed to give you a real good idea of, what makes you, certain characteristics and stuff like that. Let's kick it over to my guy, Red Raspis. Get your thoughts on this. I've been excited to hear what you have to say because I know you had mentioned before recording, it was leading up to this on Twitter, that you're kind of on the fence.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Trey really kind of framed the dilemma of this really well in that it is fun and a lot like fortune cookies. I think this is something that you can read and then you're putting that vibe out into the world, right? This is the secret. This is thousands of different kinds of things about manifesting what you want to happen in your life. And this is just another fun and interesting and albeit, not proven way to kind of guide your life. And, I grew up with a thing called Star Scrolls. They stopped making them, I think, in the mid 90s. But there were these little, rolled up pieces of paper about, a size of a cigarette. And they would have them either in a vending machine or they'd have it in a little bin by the cash registers. And there would be one for each sign. And I would get those all the time, all the time, because it would have lucky numbers and it would have, all kinds of just stuff in addition to here's a horoscope for every day of that month. So there's definitely been times in my life where I remember as a kid growing up reading the paper every day with my dad. We'd have breakfast and he'd get his section of the paper and I'd grab my section of the paper and I would always read the horoscope and it would plant that thought for your day in the morning of you're going to meet somebody that creates an opportunity today or whatever the hell they say.
You'll be rich in 3 days.
Yeah, right. Look for money or, whatever. It always is something that it just sort of goes, oh, I will just now try to be more aware of that in my life or manifest it or just even say it even just saying stuff to people sometimes makes shit happen. Right. So the fact that you now have this specific idea of what your day is going to be potentially like, why not jump on board? Right. But at the same time, it's like you said, there is no backing in this other than the history of the science, which I think is also the pseudoscience of it. I think that's also interesting is that we have as human beings, and regardless of culture, been doing this sort of thing in some variation for arguably tens of thousands of years. I think I saw that we've been charting the moon for 25,000 years. So we put some kind of emphasis on our place amongst the planets and who's to say that it doesn't affect something, that there's a strange change in the gravity when Jupiter is aligned with blah, 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 blah. And if you live in this part of the world, then that's how you're, I don't know. And I'm sure no medical people have bothered to address this because it isn't perceived as a real science. It isn't that. So that's why I said earlier, I feel like I'm very much on the fence. It's fun. It's good fun. But to decide who you're going to marry based on this, I've known people like that. They're like, oh, my astrologer said I can't marry a Gemini. And I'm like, but you're dating this guy that's a Gemini and he's really cool. But you're going to let your astrologer decide that you don't keep dating this guy? Yeah. Well, yeah. That I don't understand. That's where I'm like, okay, that's one step too far into what this thing is and should be in your life.
Right. And I love that you brought that up because it's one thing I forgot. It's people legit use it for their compatibility. There are lists all the time that get dropped on social media. Most compatible signs, let's throw it down to my guy Mikey Mini Pies. Said it correct this time, didn't have to correct myself. What do you think on this? I think if anybody's going to believe in it, it's you.
So I'm a big fan of everything in moderation, right? So I think that there are some key things that are scientifically proven about astrology. I think Red mentioned, like the moon. Like we've been marking the moon for thousands of years, right? The moons control the tides of the ocean. Also, another piece of it is the power of suggestion, right? It's what Trey was saying. It's like if you say something to somebody, it's likely to happen because you're thinking about it. You're constantly saying, I'm going to see 12 red cars today, and then guess what? You're looking for red cars. Yeah. And then when you see them, you're like, oh, I did see 12 red cars today. Man, this thing really, is true. And so you see each of those things and you start gaining that power of suggestion and you start slowly believing it. And then the other piece of it is you have people that take it too far, and that's where you kind of get into the pseudoscience. And that's when you're talking like, I don't completely believe in like the whole Mercury's in retrograde, I had a bad day today because, Mercury was faced, 3 sides too far to the west or, anything like that. Like that stuff I don't believe in, but I do believe in signs. I believe in, marking the moon and having, because like, just for instance, like the tides in the ocean, right, with the moon, like everything affects everything else that happens in nature, right? So that tide goes on the west side of America, hits that side. It has an equal and opposite reaction to travel and do something else somewhere else. So everything has its piece. And so when you look at like the Farmer's Almanac and stuff like that, those are based off of astronomy. Yeah. And those have been around for years and years. And I can tell you for assurance that farmers use those almanacs, and they can plant things and they can grow things. And, everything is very scientific when it comes to that. But
I'm so glad you said that, One Lung, because it's like, it's what you guys were kind of talking about. I feel like with the ghost thing and like the residual energy and like energy that's pulled, like gravity is energy in a way. So like, it kind of makes sense, like maybe the energy affects our brains and how we act a certain way when we're born,
For sure. But again, it comes down to, for me, everything in moderation. Like I can believe in parts of something without going full tilt and being like, oh yeah, it matches, like Red was saying, I'm not going to let a sign tell me who I can or cannot marry. That doesn't make sense to me. But if you tell me, maybe I shouldn't live in this part of the United States because of a lot of research that the moon, dragging this wave to create these weather phenomenons, say that that's not a great place to live. I might not live there. I'm not going to go build a house in Tornado Alley. Yeah. That's just me. But people do it anyway. But anyway, that's my point.
Tons of people live there.
Yeah. Because you know what? They get hit by a tornado. What are they going to do? Oh, we're going to rebuild.
Yeah.
Idiots. Anyway.
You just called all of Oklahoma idiots.
Yeah, you fucking dumbasses. Jesus Christ.
If the shoe fits.
Let's kick it down to our group skeptic, Brian. Excited for what you have to excited to hear what you have on this, big guy. Let's kick it to you.
First of all, Trey Daddy, as it were. I can't believe nobody else called out the Trey Daddy this whole time.
I typed it in the chat, bro.
Let's go.
Yeah, Trey Daddy.
Trey Daddy. Thank you, Trey Daddy, for the voicemail.
Yes, sir.
Coming in. But I do believe you said in the voicemail, like, your girlfriend was really into astrology. Is that what you said?
Yep.
Where is she? Why is she not on this podcast?
She's actually in Texas right now. She's visiting, Yeah.
So they have webcams
Is that based
there?
on an astrology?
Yeah. Her chart told her she needs to go to Texas. It's going to help her out.
And let me just tell you, just to put a pin in Yetis, if they pooped in their bones, it would be frozen in the ice. We've already found it, so that's debunked real quick.
Sorry,
because we find in mammoths. We would have found Yeti poop a long time ago. I'm just saying. I mean, it's all right. I saw the sign. It opened up my eyes. I saw the sign. You guys.
Had to
hate
let
it.
it drop.
Aren't Yetis gonna be aliens
You know what I'm
too?
saying? Like this. All right, astrology. I'm out.
You're out.
I'm out. Astronomy. I'm in. You want to show me a nice comet, a little nice planetary body, a couple of moons? I'm in. You know what I'm saying? Astrology. I'm out. I'm out. It's like it's always like my grandma was super into astrology. Like she always, it was why she bought some of like the trash, like those the like the Inquirer and like those kind of knockoff magazines, because they always had a big astrology section in the back, and it was like
World News.
And she with the Bat Boy,
Yes.
that like
Love the Bat Boy.
She always like had so many, like she kept issues. She had stacks of them. So I would go through that shit, and she would get mad because the horoscopes in each one were different and sometimes completely contradictory to the other horoscopes.
One said you're having a good day, and one said you're gonna have a bad day.
Correct. And
Yeah.
she would get mad at it. She would get physically angry at the astrology. Like she's like, it's like this. I'm just trying to get where I have my place in the universe, and it's just like they're giving me these wrong signs. But it was like, but I mean, I read a lot of that shit, and but seeing that so early on, I was like, like it's so much of it's just generalities. It's just that could apply to anyone. You're gonna have it's a fortune cookie extended. You're gonna have a great day. Great luck will come to you. I know. It's a big fortune cookie, and it goes back for generations of fortune cookies, even before the cookie was cookie. But nevertheless, it's yes, I have. If you have been to a bar and talked to a woman, you know about astrology. Like that is, you cannot date and not have it be a discussion. It is always, what is your sign? What's you? Oh yeah, oh good. Well, my cousin was like that. And it's like, okay, I'm glad you and your cousin were born in the same time zone area, like the same month region.
Well,
Like,
and weren't we
but,
talking about, Brian, last night? Weren't we talking about the fact that like almost anybody can claim to be an expert, like to say they're an astrologist? Like that you could literally you could read the Wikipedia page that we read and be like, I'm now an astrologist. I can do your star chart.
And astrology blends over very easily into witchcraft and assorted crystal works and whatnots.
They're always in the same store.
So you know what's crazy though, to touch on what you just said, like my grandma was also, and she's like 95 right now, and she's still alive, and she's, we're keeping her in a home, but she mapped everything. She was an astrologist, and she would tell my dad things. And
was she angry about it?
Oh, I mean, she made my dad angry about it.
Astrology brings anger no matter what. And
she made my dad angry. She would tell him like, oh, this is going to happen for you. And then sure enough, like he would make it happen because of his own head. And I think there's a little bit of power in that. I think that's the biggest thing about astrology. But
well, and and that kind of brings me to the next point, even of like the daily astrology people versus like the birthday astrology people. You know what I'm saying? The daily astrology people are fully up in it, like and then even I think there's a third group, which is like the mainly like planet based astrology people, like the specific planet based stuff and stars and assorted whatnot. There's like, I feel like that's kind of the three astrology camps. The daily astrology, I mean, they are into it. They're about that life. Okay. Like it's like you're never gonna get that third away from that. They're like, nope, that's it. My shit's
Brian,
retrograde, assorted whatnot. Oh yes, locked in. Experts because they got scrolls at 7-Eleven and they've read shit in the back of trash magazines and whatnot. And now on the internet is so easy to get Robin's got a subscription thing on her Twitter that it's a bot that just puts up her shit every day. She doesn't even have to seek it out. It seeks her out and posts on her thing about her astrology stuff. And but then like the birthday astrology, that's just like their month, like chunk that you're born in. You're Scorpio, you're assorted like that solid, just that thing. That's all they care about. Oh, you're a Scorpio? I don't fucks with Scorpios. My ex was a Scorpio. I don't do that. And like, oh, I'm a Gemini. And Gemini croquettes, and I don't.
I'm a Scorpio. That's why I was pointing at myself.
I don't go for that. I don't date Libras, and a Libra killed my father, so I can't date Libras. And I don't know. But then, and the planet-based ones, that's where I think you bleed a little more into some of the other Wiccans and assorted whatnots because they're like, they're the ones out there dancing under a full moon to try to make some moon juice and those kind of things, like that.
Venus rising.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it's, but as astrology as a whole, pseudoscience was the great place to start because it is very much like, yes, there are things that are done. And I would even say like the Farmer's Almanac, along what you said, I think that's more astronomy than like the astrology, you know what I'm saying? Because they're mapping the moon and the star, like they're doing it more in real time, which is helping them kind of predict what the seasons are, but they're also taking weather patterns and other things into like consideration beyond just, I think that's more of a scientific thing. That's why there's a new one every year and not like the same one every year. So it's because they do it every year, they also track that shit. So, but I mean, but that's still, I feel like they're doing more of a scientific method other than, hey, it's Tuesday, buddy. You're a Capricorn. You're gonna be really lucky.
I think more my point is that there's still power in nature, and I think that's where astrology at its root is meant. That there is power in the way that the universe aligns, and there, for the same reason that I believe in, ghosts and whatnot, is like, I feel like you're never going to lose that power. That power is always there.
But what you just said is not what we're talking about at all. I mean, literally, what we're talking about right now, because I'm the same thing, dude. The moon interacts with stuff, all this stuff, planets. I don't doubt that shit all interacts with us. But to say that it makes you more lucky in one day and all this other stuff and lucky numbers and this is going to affect your mood and all those things, like it's like people, when they read that, then if it happens, it's just because all in their head they were more predetermined that like, oh, I'm going to have a bad day today. Oh, look, it happened. I'm going to have a good day today. Oh, it happened. And I don't think that that's the same thing.
I do think that at the root, it is the same thing. But what you're talking about is what I said. Like, I don't feel like you have to go full tilt to where you're at to say that it's real or not. I think you can believe in portions of something without being like, oh, Mercury's in retrograde, so I'm lucky number 7 today, and stuff like that, where there is power. And I would even say there is even, I don't want to say like power in like reading the future or anything, but there is ways to look at like how things and how energies are going. So,
well, and isn't that kind of the distinction you would say, Brian, with the 3 kind of categories? Like the birthday astrology people, they're on a scale of 1 to 10 into astrology, they're like at a 6, whereas the daily person is like the 10, and the person who's into all the planet stuff is like an 8 or an 8.5, right? Like they're varying degrees of like how hard did you go into.
If they're
astrology.
all in the upper scale, let's just do a 1
to 5
scale.
They are. No, because there can be people out there who just read it once a year on their birthday, just in the newspaper. That's a 2. Like that, you know what I mean? Like that's me. That's what I do. Like on my birthday, I'll read the paper and be like, oh, what does it say if you were born today? Whatever. You are whatever the fuck it's supposed to say.
Somebody mark that down for a clip. Red just assigning just rating. Red is the official astrology rater. He's going to tell you how into it you are.
Yeah, how hardcore are you?
I think.
Yeah. Describe to me your astrology addiction. I will tell you.
Yeah.
I also think that people get addicted by reading those things, right? So like if they read one and it turns out to be correct and they're like, oh my goodness, it was right. And so they start reading more. And so maybe the next 10 aren't correct, right? But then they get to that 11th one and it happens to have some right. And so now you're getting, even you're getting a 10% correct value, which I think is a stretch. I don't even think people get 10% of them right. Like I'm talking like people probably get like 3 right in a quarter century. But I mean, you get a few right here and there, you start to get hooked into it. And then you gradually start going from what you would say, Red, is a 5 or a 6 to a 7 or 8. And then all of a sudden, maybe they get a 3rd or 4th one right. And now they're at 10 and they're out looking for the stars and marking everything. So I think that
you get me.
I think that there's ways that, I think that in America for sure, we are a power of suggestion group. We hear something and we put it, there's a lot of power in words.
I mean, that's what's crazy is that like, and there's more in as much as there isn't like factual stuff with astrology, there's like so much non-factual things with like Christianity, but that's like North America. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And now we've got like people that believe in astrology, and you're like, oh, that's insane. But it's like, is it more insane than that? I mean, you know what I'm saying? So like, there's a little bit of like ambiguity.
The
there that's, like,
Zoroastrians are like,
makes me
there's, I mean,
very
there's,
like interested.
yeah, there's all kinds of religions that are based on astrology too. Like that there's another layer beyond just being into astrology, and that's actually following a religion that is based on astrology, which those do exist too.
Mhm.
Fudge, you were saying that you've got a little thing where we're going to actually test some of these theories about astrology based on our signs.
Yeah, I think we really hit on a lot of great points there in that first segment. Great little segue there, Red. I know Brian was talking about the daily horoscope. So, fun fact, 90% of people today know their zodiac sign. I assume all of us here know what zodiac sign we are.
Yep.
So, Brian was talking about the daily horoscope. We can look at just our regular birthday horoscope. We're going to do both. I'm pulling up everybody's daily horoscope for today. We're going to read it off. I'm going to pull up what your sign is, what it means, and we're going to see if it relates relates at all to us, like if we have any of those traits. I was watching a video today on YouTube doing some prep for it, and it went over Scorpio, which is what I am, and it said highly emotional and sensitive, and I just said fuck.
Yeah. Nailed it.
Because that one kind of tracks. So we'll go with me first. I'm a Scorpio. We'll do my daily first. So it's July 22nd, 2022. Scorpio horoscope. So Scorpio is October 23rd to November 21st. I was born on October 24th, 95. So it says you're apt to need emotional freedom, Scorpio. Perhaps you sense that you're being coerced or manipulated into feeling a certain way and feel trapped in the situation. If you can distance yourself, you're likely to see that you're indeed getting caught up in someone else's drama. Right now, it's imperative that you find an outlet where you can express yourself freely without feeling like you have to act a particular way. Revive your love. Make this the year your love grows with psychic love reading. I don't want to do that, but this is from horoscope.com.
I mean, dude, is it not talking about you and your being a new daddy and all that shit? I mean, come
Revive
on.
your love, Fudge. Revive it.
Stop making this make sense. All
You're gonna
right.
love
Revive that flame.
That's the key, though. Is that it's so open that it makes it possible to
You
be
can
like,
put it in any little
oh,
box,
that's what it's
right?
talking about.
Yeah, that could be mine. You could be mine. What if it's
God,
mine
there's so many
instead?
big words.
I'm
Is
not
it done?
Scorpio, but
Is
like
that it?
That's
Back
it.
to your point, Red, like, why not hop on board, right? It's positive as hell.
yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, let me think. Is that about the last girl that I dated that I haven't seen in a while, or what is that about?
Yeah.
You know, you figure out a way to make it mean something.
Is that the end of that thing, or is there more?
That's the end of my daily. To go to just the basic Scorpio, this is from allure.com.
You're such a basic Scorpio.
Yeah, I know. Elusive and mysterious. Scorpio is one of the most misunderstood signs of the zodiac. I'm so misunderstood.
You're so mysterious.
Scorpio is a water sign that uses emotional energy as fuel. I can see that. Cultivating powerful wisdom through both physical and unseen realms. In fact, Scorpio derives its extraordinary courage from its psychic abilities, which is what makes this sign one of the most complicated dynamic signs of the zodiac.
Holy shit, I got psychic abilities, you guys, from Unseen
got-
Realms. Did you guys all hear that too?
Yeah, are you a
Yeah.
Scorpio too, Brian?
Yeah, did you hear that? Unseen Realms.
Dude, we are
What?
fucking...
Are you a believer
I'm
now?
a fucking psychic?
Yeah, we're
on.
powerful as fuck.
Nope. We got nothing.
Not feeling it yet.
We got nothing.
Your powers haven't been awakened yet.
Nothing yet. Red,
It's
what's
just in
what's
other
your-
realms though?
The funniest part of
yeah.
this whole thing, though, is that the edible was kicking in when Andy started to read it, and he said today's date. I thought it was his birthday today. I was like, holy shit, it's his birthday. It's so close.
No, sir.
Oh, my
Red,
God.
what's your sign?
I am a Sagittarius, December
All right.
18th.
Sagittarius. So your daily horoscope. July 22nd, 2022. Take inventory of your habits and behaviors, Sagittarius. Look to certain patterns and note the ones that do and don't work for you. You'll more than likely feel an urge to break free from repetition and create new paths that allow for other opportunities to come along. You may not even be consciously aware that in many ways you are beating a dead horse. Don't continue to waste your energy on paths to nowhere.
Take inventory and stop beating
Are
your
we
dead
talking
horse.
about this podcast?
Beating your dead horse. Take inventory of your dead horse.
Oh God!
Oh my god.
Oh God! Oh, I'm telling you, I'm a believer now. It made me a believer. Guys, I quit. I'm done.
He's a dead horse over here.
That's fucking
Oh,
hilarious.
that's too good.
So just a basic look at the Sagittarius, November 22nd to December 21st. Oh, the places Sagittarius goes, but ... Actually, this fire sign knows no bounds. Represented by the Archer, Sagittarians are always on a quest for knowledge. I think that is definitely describes you, Red.
Yep.
The last fire sign of the zodiac, Sagittarius launches its many pursuits like blazing arrows, chasing after geographical, intellectual, and spiritual adventures. Dude.
100% me.
I like that a lot. Okay, Trey, you are what'd you say you are?
I'm a Gemini.
A Gemini.
And by the way, before you finish,
yeah,
every time I read one of those, it is dead on. No matter where it is, whether it was 20 years ago or it's today, every time I read one of those, I'm like, well, that's kind of dead on. Now, what's even crazier is my brother is also Sagittarius. Can't be the same because we're
Right.
not the same, right? We're different enough. Like, it can't
You guys
be.
have very similar.
But we do. We
things.
both became musicians. We both have traveled a lot because of being musicians.
You both are represented by the Archer, and you chase the fire.
Chase that fire. Everybody knows I chase the fire. Speaking of fire,
Chase the pony.
all right. So Gemini horoscope for today, July 22nd, 2022. Yes, I'm going to say it every time. You may have endless ideas streaming through your head, but little patience to see any of them through to the end, Gemini. Perhaps you're so busy jumping from one thought to the next, that you don't take any of them far enough to know whether or not they're worth pursuing. Write thoughts down as they come to you and go over them later when your mind is in a quieter state.
For sure.
interesting.
Are you in a quiet state right now? Is that what you're feeling?
I'm pretty ADHD, so like if you could put ADHD in a horoscope, that was that.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
What are the dates for Gemini?
Gemini is May 21st through June 20th. And the general definition, or I don't know if it's a definition, but
General definition.
have you ever been so busy that you wish you could clone yourself just to get everything done? That's the Gemini experience in a nutshell. Spontaneous, playful, and adorably erratic. Gemini is driven by its insatiable curiosity, appropriately symbolized by the celestial twins. This air sign was interested in so many pursuits that it had to double itself. You know, no big deal. It literally says that in the article.
Wow.
You
know.
No big deal, guys.
It actually says NBD, but
Bring one on the podcast, no big deal. You know.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's pretty accurate, Trey?
I would say so. Yeah. Usually when I read up about Geminis, I don't know if you guys have done like the whole, like they've got the chart thing where like my son is in Gemini, but then my moon is in Capricorn, and then my rising is Aquarius. So like it's crazy. Like
You guys rising.
You're not supposed to know that stuff, Trey, by the way.
Well, hey,
Yeah.
girlfriend, you know. Anyways,
Mm-hmm.
so like apparently like the Gemini thing is very like you have all these different interests, you're very like sporadic, you don't know, like, and that's very true. Like, I mean, Andy, you know how many different jobs have I had, like
That's true.
in 1,000 different industries, like I just don't know what I want to do type of thing. So I mean, very, very applicable to me, I would say, you know.
Absolutely. That makes me think of like when you were working at the collision repair and just always fucking you were like always doing something. It felt like, or when we lived together, it's like if you weren't doing this, you had to go do this and then this. It is pretty accurate.
Yeah.
One Lung, we're gonna go down to you. What is your sign?
I am Cancer.
You are a Cancer.
You are a
Crab.
All right.
Cancer.
You're a big crab.
All right, Cancer horoscope, July 22nd, 2022. It's okay to change your opinion, Cancer. You may pride yourself on being the solid one who always has an answer or knows exactly where to go. You may look upon others as flaky, indecisive, or fickle. Looking at you, Ganja John, canceling on fucking One Lung for tomorrow. It's important.
Cancer? I didn't know you
It's important. Yeah, he canceled. I'm sorry. I didn't know I was breaking the news to you right there.
Okay.
It's important that you not shut down your thinking after making a decision about something. Keep your mind open to changes that occur around you, and maybe you'll have a change of heart. Anything relatable there?
No.
Okay.
One Lung like, nope.
Like, I think that, I mean, of course there's pieces of it that are relatable just because I think it relates to everybody. And I mean, but I don't know that I'm in any state where I'm like, oh, I need to keep I think I do a good job of keeping my mind open. Like, I think with my situation in my life, like I've never been one to shut things down and shut things out because of who I am. And I think that's a bigger piece to all of this is that like, these are very general, right? Mm-hmm. And so they can't fit everybody, you know, no matter how hard they try, because life experiences are different. But with everything, with every single one of the horoscopes that you've read, though, I see pieces of me in each of them, right?
Well, that has something to do with what Trey was saying. How you know because there's signs for every planet, the sun, the moon. So it's like kind of with the birth chart. I think that may be something we might need to do as an extracurricular. Is do everybody kind of do their birth charts.
Yeah. One thing I will say is that like, and I know you have one more thing to read for me, but one thing that this highlights is the power of positivity, right? Mm-hmm. So like all of these things are pretty positive, and I can tell you that with different experiences that I've had, that is the most important piece of any of this. Is like your positive thinking towards things. And so each one of these horoscopes gets somebody thinking in a positive manner. None of them are negative, right?
Yeah.
They're all like
they're hopeful.
They give you hope, advice, a generalization to get you moving in a direction. They give you direction, but none of them are like, oh, you should probably go find the nearest bridge to jump off of.
But none of these that he's doing, none of these that he's saying right now, like, because there's other websites, other sources where they go negative, where they're like, watch out, your shit's in retrograde, you know, don't make rash financial decisions. It just really depends on your source. Those are advice my grandma giving. with her multiple magazines that she saw all said different things.
Yeah,
you know? Like,
but I feel like if you're able to be patient with what you're reading, you can also like recognize your own weaknesses in life. You know, going through it when you hear those negative, not necessarily negative, but like kind of like not as good things as you would. You can be like, hey, like maybe I should improve on this aspect of what I'm doing because you heard like, oh, this one thing, and obviously pseudoscience. We're hearing words that are just written down, but like it helps you to like think a little more. It's just it
makes you look in the mirror.
Catalyst.
For sure.
Absolutely. So Cancer, June 21st through July 22nd, represented by the crab, Cancer seamlessly weaves between the sea and shore, representing Cancer's ability to exist in both emotional and material realms. Cancers are highly intuitive, and their psychic abilities manifest in tangible spaces. But just like the hard-shelled crustaceans, this water sign is willing to do whatever it takes to protect itself emotionally. In order to get to know this sign, you're going to need to establish trust. One Lung, is that true?
100%. Mm-hmm. That is 100%, because I am always somebody that's trying to protect myself from other people, and actually even more so that I don't like to let people get too close to me because I'm always fearful of hurting people. And so like with me, like, you know, I've been dead 3 times, everybody knows. I don't know when I'm going to die, and so I don't want too many people to be sad when I die. And so I'm very cautious about who I let in.
Yeah.
That's super apt, dude. And so if we're gonna, you know, relate it back, my dad, he's a Cancer, very, very relatable in that sense. Like he doesn't like to let people in. He doesn't like to. In Andy, you know, Brian, he's very hard. Like doesn't really. It's that kind of like I gotta trust somebody first. So if you want to relate it, Cancers, here we are.
Yeah. But that doesn't stop me from being friendly or making friends with a lot of people. But a lot of people don't get super close with me until, you know, I trust them. But I have tons of friends and I love hanging out with everybody. But, you know, it takes a while for me to be like, hey, this is what's really going on with me and stuff, you know?
Right.
Sure.
You wanna know how close I am to one lung? I've got him on my heart right here.
Yeah, buddy.
you do.
Got him on my heart.
That's
right
the
here.
most comfortable jersey in town.
Absolutely.
UltimateTeamGear.com.
So I think that was a fun little segment. It kind of, you know, most of us, it seemed like there were some ideas we liked in the opening segment. There's some things we're pretty skeptical of. I will do one final discussion here before we get to our voicemails and close out the show. Kind of just a final roundup, if you will. After reading those daily horoscopes and like the general things, does that change anybody's opinion at all about astrology? Did it help? Did it not help? I guess Brian, it kind of helped me because apparently we're superheroes now.
Apparently, yes,
and
we have powers
powers.
Unseen realms.
One lung's
unseen realms, guys.
One lung's a psychic as well. He's got powers because he's a Cancer. So I guess I'll start with you, Brian, because you were the most skeptical. You were out after reading that. Any change your mind at all? Make you feel any better about astrology?
I mean, you were the most excited, Brian. You were real excited about your psychic powers.
Well, it's
do you need to rewind?
Brian, if the Yeti was a Scorpio.
If I believe that, if only I had psychic powers, guys, huh? If only I was Professor X in this shit. No, I don't. Not big into this. It's a no. Oh, because that was the ultimate thing too. I totally forgot to mention this subset of astrology is the people that believe your sign is when you were conceived. Like on the other end.
Yes.
That's a whole other group
Date
of
of
people
conception,
too that think that your conception is the whole thing. So like I guess
that's
I'm a
like the
Leo
Mormons
in that
with
sense or
quiverfuls.
whatever, you know, like whatever holiday that your parents had sex on or their
Yes. For me, it was St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, see? It's funny how it's like it just depends on how drunk your parents got on what holiday is your sign. So it's either get the time you're born at the other end. So, but that's a whole other subset of stuff. It's just I don't know. People just you attach what you want to it. Take the positivity from it. Take the negativity from it. I think we could read a bunch of different ones. If I just told you my sign was different and you didn't know I was a Scorpio and you like read it, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's totally him. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like that's. I feel like you can kind of attach some stuff like that to anybody, and it's generalities. Yes, you can be right 3 out of 10 times, and that's a good average for baseball. But I don't know if that's good for from living my life by it. So, and I mean, like I said, Mayans lived their whole life about a lunar calendar, but I even think that shit was more astronomy than astrology too. So,
right,
yeah.
And.
May I say?
I think
yes, I know. Many people will be up in arms who are very much into astrology and are about that life, but I'm not about that life.
I think it kept it like kept it pretty vague. Like it keeps it pretty wide open, so it can feel relatable to a lot of people. I feel like you talked about the celestial calendar. That was like one of the big things it was used for. A few cultures weren't necessarily into, how it affected people and more so how it affected the earth. The Chinese, the Hindus, the Mayans, the Indians, they used it. Yeah, they used these celestial constellations and shit, how they were moving to map out terrestrial events, like what was going to happen to the earth, kind of similar to what One Lung was talking about with the Farmer's Almanac. Yeah. I mean, this shit goes back to literally like the second millennium of BC, like 200, like this is some early shit that has been around quite a long time. One Lung, I'll go to you. So after, same question I asked Brian, just your closing thoughts on horoscopes and astrology, zodiac signs, whatever you want to call it. After reading your daily and the general horoscope, did that change your mind? Did it at all? Did it influence anything in you on this topic?
It didn't, but I respect it. And if people want to, if people want to believe in it, they can, because like I said, I feel like the power of positive thinking is huge. And I think that this provides a way for people to positively pursue things and think about things and look for guidance, when I think a lot of people in our world are not sure where to get guidance from. And if this is where they want to get it from, it's not much different than throwing a dart at a dartboard to figure out where you're going to travel to next, unless you're me, who knows what they can hit on the board. I mean,
just you're like, I want to go here.
But as for astronomy versus astrology, I think that Brian is right in the sense that astrology is a deeper piece of it, but I still think astronomy plays a big part of astrology, and I do believe in portions of it without having to go, fully into it to believe that, the Mercury and Retrograde and all that stuff. So,
Red, I'll kick it to you after same question that I've been posed. Does this change your mind at all?
Yeah, no, I mean, it makes me maybe lean a little closer because of how accurate it is, like especially hearing the descriptor that if born on today, like that definitely makes me go, well, yeah, there's something here, right? Especially how accurate it was in so many ways for a lot of us and people we knew. I always feel like that's if there's a little bit, then okay, then the door's open. The doorway is open for me to if you can explain to me how the door got open that much, then maybe there's an explanation for this much. So I'm still on the fence. I still think it's fun. I think back to what Lun Lung was saying about if you want to live your life by it, I feel like this is a lot less harmless way to do that than there are other ways. Certainly, especially it's fairly harmless to other people. So go ahead.
You got to give us a number too, Red. At the end of this, you got to give us all a number where we land on the scale.
Yeah,
yes.
You're the judge.
Yes, 100%.
Okay. Well, hold on, we
need a rating.
We got to hear from Trey first, and then we'll get to numbers, and then we'll do the voicemail. So Trey, you seem, I don't want to say you're all the way in on this. I'm not going to speak for you, but you seem to be probably more open to this than the rest of us on the show. After hearing your daily thing, you were pretty you thought it was pretty relatable. Did it change your mind at all? Did it sway you at all? I guess we'll get your final thoughts on astrology and everything as well.
I would say exactly the same, where I was. Like it did make sense, and I'm kind of riding the same train as like One Lung here. I feel like, there's a lot to be said about like the mapping, like the moon and the energy and all that kind of stuff, because we don't know anything like there's never been anything scientifically kind of really brought in about that. We could sit there and say like, oh, like astronomy relates to astrology, but like at the same time, like these astrologists are not, scientists. And like, I just think it's really cool to see like, different people acting a certain way because they were born at a certain time. And we've like literally statistically like put that in a thing. I feel there's people that have actually done that, and maybe it's true, maybe it's not. But I'm definitely like the same, and I think that it's applicable to certain life and stuff like that. And I'm the same. I feel like it didn't sway me. I've heard it a lot. The Gemini thing. Like I'm big sporadic. I'm the shyster is what most people will tell me. I'm just
right. I definitely have, it's funny because Brian mentioned it earlier. If you ever talk to a girl in a bar, you've probably heard about horoscopes. I definitely have some friends that are super into it. You had somebody ask, "Oh, what's your sign?" And like specifically my friend Brittany, she's like, "What's your sign?" And I'll say Scorpio. She goes, "Oh, that makes so much fucking sense. Yes, the fuck you are." Like, oh my god, like it doesn't matter what. Like it's like, would say. Yeah, it's like
you should say a fake sign one time to see what they say.
Exactly. But I think after reading mine, like I definitely related to it. I get. I can be sensitive at times. I make a lot of emotional decisions. I'm very impulsive, depending on what it is. I don't know if it necessarily swayed me. I think there are certain things that you can take from it that are positive. There are certain things that you can kind of take for what it is. I mean, it's been debunked as not really science or accepted in, the scholastic community since the 19th century. But it is interesting how I mentioned it, how far it dates back, how many different cultures it's spanned across. But I guess at the root of it, what we're really talking about is right now, and that's Western astrology, mostly based off of, ancient Greece. I think it's interesting. One thing I didn't bring up is, the different animals assigned to each sign. You've got a ram for Aries, you have a lion for Leo, Scorpio is obviously a scorpion. There's the archer that we said that's not necessarily an animal, but there's a bull for Taurus.
Anymore, though.
Yeah,
twins anymore.
We can't say Siamese twins.
You're a conjoined sign.
Yes.
So we seem to be all on pretty much the same page here. So I think
level.
Yes. So let's go to Red. Give us our ratings. I want you pick who you're going with, 1 to 10. Let us know what you think.
Okay. I think Trey's got to be at the highest on the scale, right?
Sure.
I think no matter what. So I feel like you're a healthy 7 or 7.5. I feel like, especially since of all the information you have. I'll give myself a 6, and I feel like Fudge is like maybe even 5. I'm gonna go with Lung as like maybe a 3. Maybe 2.5.
And I thought he was higher than that.
You think so? Okay, so where are you guys?
With you, Rasmus.
Okay.
I think I'm actually closer to Trey.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I'm probably
okay.
just under Trey.
So you
5.5,
think maybe more like a
5.
6.5?
I'm like a 6.5 or a 7. I think.
Okay. I like that. I can go. And Brian's obviously a 1.
Is there a negative on the scale?
You're a 1. You're like,
there's no bones and poop in this argument.
No fucking way.
So he's got no basis.
Astrology.
Yeah. So we'll say Trey's a 7.5. We'll say Lung's a 6.5. I'll say I'm a 6, Fudge a 5, and Brian a 1. How's that feel to everybody?
There is a 0 on the scale. I'm just saying there's a 0 on the scale.
No, it's 1 to 10 on a scale of 1 to 10.
I did
say
how
it works.
It's a very Sagittarius rating of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think that you're allowed to make up the Red Rasmus astrology scale, Brian.
Yes,
your name's
thank
Red
you.
Rasmus.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
So
trademarking that shit.
Patent pending.
Hold on. Speaking of Brian, he has been known to, maybe mispronounce certain words on the show.
Oh yes.
But I think we might have found where he got it from, and it relates because Trey mentioned this in the voicemail. Red, can you run the clip real quick?
Yeah. The source clip.
The source.
Your name is Duncan McDonald, right? You're the whitest white guy I've ever met. You're basically albino. I wouldn't worry.
Huh.
Call back, motherfuckers. Albino, it's a thing. That's where he got it.
I told you. People are about that albino life, and apparently they're European.
What's even better is the subtitles spell it correctly, so it's definitely meant to be the word that we're all trying to. Yes, it's definitely the same word.
That's hilarious.
So I'm going to appreciate if you get all the way up off my back about it.
Yeah, well, you're gonna have to start speaking with your native Irish accent from here.
I don't want that to happen. I think I'm good on that. So speaking of being good on that, I think we're good on the topic. We're going to expand on it a little bit. We've been pushing all week on our social media, voicemails, because we wanted to hear from you. And we got a few that we want to play for you. So we're going to play them all in a row. We're going to discuss them for a couple minutes, and we're going to get the hell out of here. So Red, cue the voicemails, my friend.
Yep, this is Gun. All right, two things. One, Red's voice in the voicemail intro is amazing because it's like that half whisper. Like, oh, sorry. Number two, astrology is bullshit. Let's talk about that. All right,
Oh my God. I love that voicemail. Or I love your voice. I think that's Red. Anyway. I'm calling to talk about astrology because I fucking love astrology, and I like to think that it's pretty accurate when it comes to like defining personalities, people's character flaws and differences and stuff like that. For example, I'm a Cancer and I am an overly sensitive, mothering personality. When I get angry, you don't want to be around me. I put other people first before myself, which is definitive of a Cancer. It just depends, I guess on how you feel, really. I don't necessarily think that, when it comes to, dating, that Cancer or, that horoscopes and astrology mix and match, because, sometimes people can be complete opposites, and people might say they're not a match, but people are, it's still a thing. People are still together, even though technically their astrological signs don't match. Cancer is a water sign, and I love the water, so, legit. That is also another thing about it. It just depends on how you feel, and also, today, for example, I met someone that is just turning their birthdays today, and it's July 21st, and, she's like, I have some Cancer qualities, but I'm not a full-blown Leo, because Leo is after Cancer, and, I understand there are some huge differences, too. But, for example, I have my dad is a Leo, and he is not a typical Leo personality whatsoever. And then I have a best friend who is an August Leo, and he is a typical Leo. Although he is not 100% on the stereotype of, an arrogant, lion-headed douchebag, he does have some of those qualities, but he's still a very sensitive and genuine and caring person. So, really, it all boils down to how you feel and what you think, but I'm a full believer in astrology in almost all aspects. And even, Chinese, lunar horoscopes, I find those to be really good, too. Those are really interesting. But maybe that's a whole other conversation you're going to have with your friends. So, have a wonderful day.
What's up, y'all? This is longtime fan and listener and two-time shirt buyer Zanoni, doing one of my least favorite things and leaving a voicemail because apparently we've gone through some wormhole and we're stuck in the 20th century. But anyway, I don't necessarily think astrology is 100% bullshit. I mean, there are a lot of things we don't yet understand about the universe we live in, but not unlike organized religion or practices like feng shui, I think it can often be used as a crutch or an easy explanation as to one might experience hardships, such as when I'm having a particularly bad day, my Xbox stops working, I'm having trouble communicating very simple concepts to my coworkers, or I'm just incredibly irritable for no good reason. And some people close to me will give me this canned response like, well, it's Mercury retrograde. And I get the impression it's easier for me to write things off that way and not have to actually dig into the root causes of these problems. But I would love to hear any thoughts that you have on things like Mercury retrograde in particular. Anyway, that's all I got. Good luck with the episode, and tell Shenanigan to silence this goddamn phone for the love of God. All right, talk to y'all later.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen of the viewing audience of Edging the Truth. It is the Real Tight Spot. Calling in to say that I really don't believe in astrology, but I know I have a friend that I interviewed recently. His name is Theo Candel. He had a song called Star Sign where a girl would not date him because he was a certain star sign, astrology sign. So maybe get in contact with him to find out what his thoughts are on astrology as well. But for me, I think it's all fate. I think life is fate. I think everything happens for a reason, but there's no alignment of the stars or the galaxies or whatever the people think they believe in on that situation. But check that out. And yeah, I wish you guys all the best. Brian, Andy, One Long, and Red. Hope you guys are all doing well. Have a great night. And can't wait to hear the podcast. Bye.
Holy shit.
That was so fun. Thank you all for those calls.
All right.
Those By the way, that's your lady, Brian.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, could we give
That's
those
your lady.
those people a rating, Red? Give all those people that called
Well,
in a
I
rating.
mean, clearly Robin's a 10. I mean, come on.
She's a 9.5.
How can she be a 10, a 9.5, and you're a 1?
Because we don't
And
talk
that-
about it.
I mean, come on, man. There's no way.
I think Brian's a
This
closet
can't be
7.
destined to last. Okay.
He's like, he turns off the mic and he's like, man, I'm so glad Mercury's in retrograde right now.
So, okay, hold on.
Is she the albino?
Okay, so I'm gonna say it feels like Khan's a 1. Khan's got to be a 1. So that was the first voicemail. Second voicemail, Robin, for sure. Yeah, 9.5, maybe a 10. A closet 10, let's say. And then we'll go with who third was Zanoni. Zanoni felt like I was gonna say he felt like Lung. I'm gonna give him a 6.5. I feel like 6.5 feels accurate. And then Tight Spot. Hard to read because he believes in fate and things like that, but at the same time, he's very vocal about astrology being garbage. So I'm gonna go with 3 because I feel like there's a room in there for him thinking that.
I feel like he could be persuaded.
Yeah. I feel like if you walked up and was like, dude, did you see what your horoscope said today? That and it was one of those days where it checked one of those sentences off in the box that
And saying fate and astrology, kind of the same.
Yeah. What if it
Also,
was fate? What
weirdly-
is the astrology thing is saying? Today you're destined to blah 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 blah. Okay, well that's fate. That's just a piece of paper telling you your fate. So I feel like there's a little bit of room for that to find its way in there.
But it was a weirdly worded voicemail.
I just like that. I like that
weirdly worded.
he's the only one that it didn't address us. He actually addressed everybody listening.
Hello to the viewing audience. All right. So there's a couple things we need to address from the voicemails. Obviously, Khan said it's bullshit. Tight Spot didn't seem too into it. But I want to talk about what Robin said and what Zanoni said. Let's start with Zanoni. Because he said he wants to hear about Mercury in retrograde, and it's something that we really didn't hit on too much. So the whole Mercury in retrograde. So scientifically speaking, Mercury in retrograde is simply an optical illusion where the planet appears to change course and move backwards in the sky. Really, this is the Earth is moving quicker in its orbit around the sun than Mercury is. So just it appears that it is moving backwards. So this has been associated with bad luck and bad things happening. Oh, Mercury's in retrograde. Me and my girlfriend just broke up. I just lost my job. Like, people associate it with certain stuff like that. It usually happens about 3 to 4 times a year. 2022's all important dates are January 13th to the 3rd of February, May 10th to the 2nd of June, and September 9th through October 1st. So Mercury's good right now. September 9th, everybody start watching out.
We're good on Mercury.
Some bad shit's about to happen. So what do you guys know about Mercury in retrograde? Trey, I'll start with you.
Oh, I mean, honestly, not that much. All I know is that when it happens, I know that my girlfriend Gabby, she says that it just makes people pretty crazy. It's supposed to make people very chaotic You don't really know what you're doing. You're trying to figure out like what's going on, and you're just like very confused type of thing, which is like, I guess why I kind of relate all this back to like an energy thing. Like it has to do with like the wavelengths in your brain or something. You know what I mean? It's just weird that people kind of attribute that to being like chaotic, and that's like the only word I can put to it is like it's a chaotic thing. Like people are very like out of their element. They don't know what's going on. We're just trying to make it, and it's just like during these periods of time, which that's just the weirdest thing to me, that it's like a period of time that we're doing it. But obviously, like you just said, it's like Mercury moving backwards, so it was mapped out by somebody in the past, and that became like a thing. So
yeah, same as like though, it was like it's the same as full moons and the Ides of March, and
and Friday the 13th,
and all those Friday the 13th, all the which we've talked, that one is definitely, but like I feel like they're all the same. They all kind of are lean towards a thing that isn't just astrology. It's back to that sort of planetary belief system, which isn't just what astrology is, right? Like it's part of it. It's definitely a part of the whole mechanism. But I think if you asked your average 5 on the astrology scale, they wouldn't know a lot about planetary alignments and things like that, because they're probably just reading those daily horoscopes, or they're maybe picking up the scroll at the store or whatever, but they're not that far down the pike of research. I feel like you have to have gone pretty far down the scale, if you will. Like, that's why I feel like, Trey, you're such a 7.5, because you do have knowledge of a lot of that, of those things related to your star chart and things like that.
I mean, you can call it knowledge. It's kind of just like hearsaay, like I heard it from somebody else. But yeah,
well, that's right. But that's somebody who's also probably, where would you give your girlfriend a 9.5? Like, is she like where Robin's at? So yeah, right. So like you're getting it from somebody who's real deep in it. I feel like that's why I'm surprised Brian is not even swayed at all.
Because we don't talk about it.
One Lung, any thoughts on Mercury in retrograde?
So I usually don't know that Mercury's in retrograde until I'm told that it's in retrograde. Like something happens and someone's like, "Oh, it's because Mercury's in retrograde," and then I'm like, "Oh, is it?" And then sometimes I'll go and I'll Google and be like, "Oh, when is it out of retrograde? Like what's going on here, right?" But I do think that there is something behind it a little bit, and only because I worked in member service and customer service for years in my life, right? So like I was a manager of a call center of a credit union for a long time, right? And I'll tell you, you get the weirdest calls on full moons and when Mercury's in retrograde. Like it's just weird. You get weird calls, you get weird people, and I'll tell you what, it can't be a coincidence, right? It's always around those same times, and so whether we like to believe it or not, like those things do play a factor on us in some way. We're all physiologically made up, and so it kind of messes with us, I think.
All right, Mr. 1 on the red scale. What do you think about Mercury in retrograde?
Quick, does anybody in here actually know what the word retrograde means?
It means in backwards.
Yes.
In reverse order.
Okay. You know how many people don't? A lot. They just don't. People, like I said, people just throw out shit they just do not understand. And I think I'm just like, yes, planetary alignments is a trackable thing, but I feel like I said, we're back in the astrology versus astronomy thing. You know what I'm saying? And like, that's a little more in the middle of those two, because it's just, let me just say, all of these horoscopes and all this shit and everything, somebody wrote that. All right. That was a person that wrote that. That was someone's paid writing gig. That is why you see all of those things have very flowery language and all of that stuff. Like, there's ads for that shit where people would, pay you to write horoscopes. I mean, that's like real. That is a job. So it's just, people, just a fucking psychopath writing horoscopes, and all of a sudden my life is crazy.
No, I agree with you, Brian, but at the same time, like
off the rails and it's unhinged, and all of a sudden I'm, my shit's all fucked up because she said so. I don't know.
I'm gonna start sending you horoscopes.
Trey, what were you saying?
I was going to say at the same time, like an astronomist is somebody that wrote something in a book, right? You know, like they made this thing. Like you're saying, astronomy is better than astrology. So then, who do we believe here?
One of these two things is taught at universities. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we have been to space.
Two things.
We
United States of space.
Yeah, we do. There are some things that we have.
You never been to the University of Poop and Bones? I mean,
yeah, come on.
There is
I
an
love
Space
it.
Museum.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right.
NASA,
So let's-
what up?
And University of Poop and Bones is called a museum.
Yeah. let's get to Robin's voicemail. Basically, she was talking. Her main point was about the compatibility of signs. So I'm just gonna go over the most compatible signs, and we're gonna close out the show.
Yeah.
So Aries, March 20th through April 18th. Best match is with Sagittarius. Bold, impulsive, amorous. Wow, Aries, you really do like to live it up.
Aries, reach out.
You
reach
really
out.
like to live up
Sagittarius
to your fire sign nature. When you're interested in a relationship, then there's no gentle simmer here. It's a full-on blaze. You shine your light on your partner and are generous with your affection.
Red, you better find you an Aries, man.
This makes
You
you
know what I'm
quite the alluring companion. That's not to say you're a walk in the park, however. Yes, you have a zest for love and a libido to match. Holy shit, Red.
Are we laying down the name of my little studio here on the podcast today?
But yeah, please. But you can get bored easily and need excitement. No steady eddies for Aries. Your partner needs to exhilarate you. Sagittarius is a fellow fire sign and will only stoke the flames of passion. Spontaneous, outgoing, and adventure-loving, this pairing will not only sizzle in the bedroom, but also keep each other stimulated in everyday life. And this, Aries, is what's going to result in a long and meaningful relationship.
Jesus, Red.
I mean, come on, Aries, reach out. Sagittarius right here, single Sagittarius right here.
All right.
You're just fully
Damn,
twerked all
did
the
I just
time.
put that out on
according to
all social media platforms?
Yeah,
That
that
is so
should be your
unlike.
dating profile, son. I don't know what you're doing. Like, put that shit on your Tinder. Like, people be all over that fucking description.
Taurus, April 19th through May 19th. Best match with a Cancer. All right, one lung. Taurus is the sign of a bougie bull and boy. Do you love your home and comforts? You're most happy when surrounded by the luxuries of life. Give Taurus a night of fine wine, soft candlelight, cashmere throws, and champagne truffles, and you'll already be halfway to wooing them into changing their Facebook status to in a relationship. You're also sensuous and romantic. Quite simply, you love love. After all, you're ruled by Venus, planet of courtship. You need someone who will shower you with affection and won't be afraid to regularly vocalize their adoration of you. This is why Cancer is an ideal match. Their water sign is very comfortable with showing their emotional side. Plus, they're known as the nurturers of the zodiac. They're eager to make you the apple of their eye, and you, Taurus, are more than happy to receive this attention. One lung, I guess let's get you a Taurus and you can just shower them with love.
A Ford Taurus.
Yeah, no shit. Shout out
I'm
Ford
going
Taurus. Gemini, so Trey, May 20th through June 19th. Best matches in Aquarius, January 20th through February 18th. That couple in the restaurant who just talked the entire night long as if they're on a first date, chances are they're air sign duo of Gemini and Aquarius. As a Gemini, you're open-minded, imaginative, and witty. You approach life with an unwavering curiosity and enthusiasm. Your partner is going to need to have some serious chat to keep up. If you lose interest, though, then that's it. It's on to greener pastures. Also, commitment can sometimes be a challenge. Holy shit, Trey. Intelligent, charming, and shyful Aquarius will pique your interest and hold your attention so you don't even know about what else or who else is out there. But hey, it's not all chat. Gemini doesn't take things too seriously and are known for being mischievous. Aquarius has a rebellious streak. This isn't a couple who will shy away from getting adventurous with each other sexually, and not just in the bedroom.
Oh my!
Damn, I sure hope you're with an Aquarius, buddy.
What is your girl's sign, Trey Daddy?
She's a Virgo, so this ain't.
Oh, damn!
She's gotta go.
Don't say that. She's gonna listen to this.
Yeah, but maybe one of her other 4 signs is an Aquarius. So we don't know.
You better come up with some good logic while
Aquarius
you're
is in
together,
mine.
buddy.
It's in my chart, so
Yeah.
maybe
All
I'm
right.
just in love with myself. Fuck it.
You are. The getting bored thing. Oh, that hit home.
Hey, Andy.
For you, Trey.
Andy.
What?
Just Clay Jones in the chat says that he's a Sagittarius and his wife is a Pisces. He wants to know how compatible they are. They've been together for 18 years.
Yes. But Sagittarius, we did Sagittarius. Sagittarius is supposed to be Aries.
Okay, Sagittarius is also says best matches with the Gemini on this. This is from Glamour Magazine. If you scroll up,
we're laying on Glamour Magazine as our source.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking funny, dude. Like,
yeah.
Pisces says, according to this, hold on, I'm trying to find it.
Journals of Glamour Magazine.
Virgo is a match with Pisces. Pisces is a match with Capricorn.
Pisces was what my ex-wife was.
And if you're still with us, thanks for hanging out. This has been the most epic episode we've ever had.
No shit. If you're an Aries, your most incompatible sign in the long run is a Virgo. If you're a Taurus, your most incompatible sign is a Sagittarius. If you're a Gemini, your most incompatible sign is a Scorpio. Damn, Trey.
That was
if you're a Cancer, your most incompatible sign is an Aquarius. If you're a Leo, your most incompatible sign is a Capricorn. If you're a Libra, your most incompatible sign is a Pisces. Let's read the Scorpio one because that's what me and Brian. So our best match is with a Taurus. So Scorpio is October 22nd. It's October 23rd through November 20th. Match with Taurus, April 19th through May 19th. Scorpio. You're one of the most mysterious, intense, and alluring signs of the zodiac.
Damn
and
right.
you tend to wear this like a badge of honor. You don't care that people consider you deep, dark, and brooding. In fact, you often welcome it. It means you filter out the fair weather flirts for which you have no patience. You need someone who's going to understand your propensity for going to extremes as well as the importance of passion. This makes Taurus the natural pairing as one of the most sensual signs on the zodiac. They'll fulfill all your deepest desires. Taurus is creative, artistic, and deeply romantic. When combined with Scorpio, this can result in a highly charged partnership of eroticism and deep emotion. This is the kind of couple who go to life drawing classes together, paint nude portraits of each other, and hang them in the pride of place above the bed.
You just hung a left. You hung a left right there. On fucking the nude portraits and bric-a-brac.
I didn't know I was a Taurus.
I know what Brian's doing this weekend.
Scorpio, if you want to get steamy, this is your match. This has gone on long enough. I'm not going to read any more.
But is that
of
my
the
match for friendship or fucking? Is it supposed
That's
to be both?
fucking.
I don't know. Like, is that what it all comes down to? This is your best match for fucking, or your best match for like a life partner?
It just says most compatible. I'm going to read the Sagittarius because that's what red is.
Are endless.
Yeah.
Well, that's because
at least we've established that we didn't have to come up with.
That's because I don't worry about scales.
Yeah. Well, we already know it doesn't matter.
And that phrase works on multiple levels. Just so you know.
So.
Damn.
We're going to read the Sagittarius, then we're going to close it out because that is what red is. So November 21st to December 20th, according to Glamour. Match with Gemini, 20th, May 20th through June 19th. The adventurer, the explorer, and the fiery archer are always in search of new experiences. That's you, Sagittarius. You love spontaneous shows of affection and sudden displays of romance. Booking tickets to a city neither of you have been before is one of the things that floats your boat in a relationship. You're always an optimist at heart, and while you like to explore your emotions, you're just as happy to throw yourself into life with a happy-go-lucky approach. Gemini is a fabulous match for your free spirit. You both appreciate the importance of alone time, but also irresistibly drawn to each other with a mutual fascination. You're the kind of couple that can both randomly wake at 3 a.m., then stay up until dawn chatting. There's always something new to discover in a Sagittarius and Gemini pairing.
I mean, I guess I got to find me a Gemini.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty fucking head.
Hey, Trey.
I'm right here.
I wonder the understanding you're taking, Trey.
Yeah, no, listen, dude, she's a Virgo. I don't know if it's...
Yeah. No, I need to find me a Gemini lady that sounds super perfect. Yeah, I'm all over that. Find me a Gemini lady.
Amazing.
This has been an incredible episode of Edging the Truth. We've had so much to break down here. Thank you to Trey, first of all, for joining us. It's been a blast, brother. We've always loved talking to you. I do miss you down here.
Thanks for having me.
In the pain. Anytime. You're now a recurring guest. You got to come back on whenever we ask. We'll definitely have you back for something. I think potentially a Mandela Effect episode. I think would be a good return for the dad. Thank you to everybody that called in the voicemail. Khan, Robin, Tight Spot, Zanoni. We appreciate you. Continue to support the show. It means so much to us. We're trying to, build this up. This was our first crack. This was our first try at a live recording. We still will release this on YouTube on Monday night. It will also be out wherever you get your podcasts on Monday night. So continue to subscribe, give us a rating, a review. We're available wherever you get your podcasts. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/edgingthetruth. Just go to edgingthetruth.com. It's got our bios if you want to learn more. It's got all of our social media. It's got all of our episodes directly on the website. You can listen or watch right there. Follow us on Twitter. On Instagram at Edging the Truth. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Edging the Truth. We really appreciate all the support. I don't know how often we're going to be doing live recordings. This has been awesome. We appreciate all the comments. Zanoni, Clay Jones, Ganja John, everybody.
Can I have one more thing real quick?
Absolutely.
I just want to throw it out to everybody. Please share this with friends. Please share it. Don't just like and subscribe. If you think it's funny, if you think something was good, please share it. Because, I think that a lot of people are like, oh, I like the podcast. Tell somebody else, please. Please share it so we can just a quick retweet, a story thing, whatever. Be very helpful to us. We just need to get that word out to find more people to, be about this life. So
Edging the Truth, motherfuckers.
Absolutely. Red, throw that back up there.
Sorry.
No, don't apologize. Hit the voicemail line. If you liked hearing some of the voicemails we played on the show tonight, why not join in? We'd love to hear from you. Edging the Truth voicemail line, 917-979-6071. We heard multiple people talk about how they loved Red's little message on the voicemail. Call in and hear it. Let us know what you think. Future topics, maybe we'll ask you to be on the show, just like Trey. Hit up our merch, shop.edgingthetruth.com. We've got shirts, we've got hats, we've got a fucking mouse pad on there. Multiple designs, multiple colors. I'm wearing the hat right now. Red's got a shirt on. We need One Lung and Brian to buy our own merch, please. Zanoni, 2-time shirt buyer. That was one of the funniest things I've heard in a while on a voicemail. I love that. We thank you all for the support. Red, let them know about audible.com and let's get the fuck out of here, bro.
Yes, real quick, if you want to support us another way besides getting our merch, obviously that helps us, but you can go sign up for Audible using our link. It will be in the description for this video when it's posted on our social media. It's on our website. I believe you get 30 days free, and you can check out any of their books. If you don't know anything about astrology, they've got tons of great books that you can get on astrology. You can get other podcasts on astrology. You can get all kinds of stuff. So be sure to check out that link on our website in the description for our video on YouTube and in other places, and support us that way. If you don't already have Audible, it is only for new people. So if you've never checked it out, it's well worth it.
Twitch.tv/Edging the Truth. Give us a follow. Subscribe if you'd like. I don't know. Turn our notifications on.
Not yet. You can follow us, though.
You can follow us, whatever. Not yet. We're going to get there. But anyway, this has been episode 19 of Edging the Truth. I am Andy, a.k.a. Fudge. That's Brian Shenanigan. That is One Lung. That's Red Rasmus. And that is our very special guest, Trey Smith. Thank you so much to everybody that's tuned in live and everybody that's going to tune in when it's posted. Not live. Whatever. Edging the Truth. Edging the Truth. Edging the Truth. We're out of here.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
You're going to make me edge.
Visit edgingthetruth.com for more information and links to all our social media and podcast directories.